I'm going to have to be the bearer of bad news for all of the Trump supporters. Trump did not win that debate last night. David Muir performed masterfully. You know, Trump got some jabs in, but Muir countered. Also, Kamala was there. So in real news, the media is saying outright Kamala Harris won. The internet is saying outright Donald Trump won. And this is the two distinct realities that exist in this country. But we had a lot to break down. And I think one of the easiest assessments on the whole debate is that the media has not learned its lesson from 2016. Hillary Clinton won the debate against Trump. How did that turn out for her? The question is, are they reaching people in a significant way? And I will tell you this. Kamala Harris absolutely got Trump on, I guess you'd call it points, right? Kamala Harris did better than everyone expected. She remained calm, but she comes off as too snooty and indifferent. And I think people in the media don't understand. They're playing this game where they say, well, Kamala made a great point about issue and Donald Trump got flustered and angry. And my response is kind of like, OK, I mean, I don't know how that plays with the larger audience and the voter base. Maybe it is good for her in the long run. But that assessment misses attitude, feelings, etc. Donald Trump had the rage with him. And he certainly got mad at points, which is not good for him. However, indignation may play well among those who are most apolitical. So assessing this is well beyond what the media is trying to claim. Who did better in the debate? Well, overall, I think Kamala remained calm and kept to her talking points, and Trump seemed flustered and rambling. OK, well, where's the assessment of run-of-the-mill people? The very few of them who maybe haven't figured out who they're voting for don't know and don't care about literally anything said by any of these people on stage. All they saw was Kamala going like this with her snooty face being like, well, that's extreme, Donald Trump. And Trump looking at the camera and saying they are destroying this country. Now imagine you're a Democrat. Yeah, you're probably going to be like, you get him, Kamala. You're a Trump supporter. You're going to be like, woo, go Trump. The question is about independent voters. Middle of the road, apolitical individuals and how they feel. I got to be honest. My assessment would be more that Trump is going to benefit from this in ways the media is not going to talk about. Though Kamala did well. I think it's a cope to claim that Kamala did not do well in this debate. It benefits her in a lot of ways. But I think what they miss from this is the people who don't pay attention, who are just angry that their bills are up. I think they see anger and they see indifference. That is, in the end, what matters. Not to mention, so we got a couple stories here to go through. Of course, the media is saying Kamala won, but we'll break this down. Taylor Swift has endorsed Kamala Harris, and I called it. She is using the MAGA attacks as the vehicle to deliver her message of supporting Kamala Harris. And that's why I said, stop attacking Taylor Swift. At the very least, don't give her that vehicle. And they did. Then we'll break down some of the more viral stories from the debate, of course. Donald Trump saying they're eating dogs. The migrants are eating dogs. And the media is like, it's so silly. Kamala laughs and she's like, how extreme is this? Dude. Trump ain't wrong. We've got video from reporters on the ground of locals saying we keep hearing these stories from our town of pets being taken, of cats. Now, J.D. Vance masterfully responded to this saying, just because a public official says we don't have any evidence this is happening doesn't mean it's not happening. It very well may be happening. People are reporting it. How about journalists go down there and try and find some stories? But here's the problem. We have stories. We have people saying that it's happening. It's not definitive reporting. I got to be honest, I'm skeptical on the story. But we do have official reports from locals about duck and goose hunting in public lands illegally. And I got to tell you guys, here's what you do. You go on Google, you search for it, you click the time frame in you go tools, search time, click archives, and then look at stories from the past. And what do you find? I very easily pulled up an article from 3 years. I'm sorry, a social media post from 3 years ago of someone saying, my Haitian friend says they eat cats. Well, okay, look, man, I got to tell you, we'll break all this down, but I think that favors Donald Trump in a way that the media is not going to want to admit. I won't bear the lead. Some dude's going to be sitting down at a poker table and he's going to be like, you hear this thing about migrants eating dogs? Jeez, what's going on out there? He's not going to Google search it. He's not going to watch ABC News fact check. He just heard it. Someone else at the table is going to hear it, and the meme spreads. That's the power of memeing. The people who are concerned about mass illegal immigration are just going to hear that talking point. And you know what? Democrats can come out and say, well, that's fake news. They're spreading fake news. I don't care. We're not talking about fake news or real news. We're talking about sentiment of the American voter and how they'll react to these things. We'll break all this down. We'll talk about this. Before we get started, of course, head over to castbrew.com, the official coffee of Timcast, IRL, and the Tim Pool Morning Show. This is our coffee company. We sell coffee because it's good. Mr. Boca's Pumpkin Spice Experience is officially sold out. It's sad, you know. Rest in peace, Mr. Bocas. But we do have whole bean, 79 bags left of whole bean Mr. Bocas. I'm kind of wondering if I should just buy this and then vacuum seal another layer on the bag and keep it forever. Mr. Bocas, of course, our mascot and cat, passed away several months ago, and it's very sad. It's very sad. Also, become a member at Timcast.com. Head over there and click Join Us to support our work directly. We need your support as members. It's what makes all of this function. Of course, we sell coffee, but that coffee, we haven't taken a penny from it. It's going to staff. We have one employee who's helping to run things, and it's going to the construction of our first location. So we hope to establish locations all around the country. If we can ever get the first one open, I got to be honest, it is not easy to do this stuff. Well, I'd say mostly because I'm probably spread too thin, but we are working on it and improvements are coming. And I want to say one more thing before we get started. It's 9/11, and there are a lot of stories. I want to pull up one story about a man. There are a lot of stories about 9/11, and there's a lot of people who were born after 9/11. Around the time of, but more importantly, what a lot of people don't consider is, there are people who were born in 1998, right? 96. They're not going to remember 9/11 the same way all of us do. I don't remember 9/11 the same way that Gen Xers do. I was 14 years old. Or was I 15? I think I might have been 15 years old. I don't know, 14 or 15. And I was a kid. So I didn't understand family. I didn't understand work. I just understood that we were attacked. And I want to give a shout out to one of the greatest stories of 9/11 is Richard Rescorla. This one gets me emotional every time, but it's one of the most important stories I think you should all hear before we get into the current news. Rescorla died on September 11th. He was a British-American soldier, police officer, educator, and private security specialist. He served as a British Army paratrooper during the Cyprus emergency and a commissioned officer in the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War. He rose to the rank of colonel in the Army before entering the private sector where he worked in corporate security. As a director of security for the financial services firm Morgan Stanley at the World Trade Center, Rescorla anticipated attacks in the towers and implemented evacuation procedures that were credited with saving thousands of lives. He died during the attacks of 9/11, going back to help evacuate more people in the South Tower after he had organized the evacuation of the Morgan Stanley offices. This man it's an amazing story. He epitomizes hero. And, I just think you guys should read more about him and in honor of his and everyone else's memories on 9/11. For those that are too young and don't understand, I wasn't in New York. I just remember the shock, the terror, the fear, the uncertainty when those buildings were struck, when they came down. And as a kid, you really don't know what to expect, what's going on. This country was changed, was damaged irrevocably in so many ways following these attacks, from the expansion of the security state to just the attack on human life. Rescorla, for those that don't know, he ran security for Morgan Stanley. And the story is relatively simple. You can get into the greater detail of it, but I want to read. Let me read this paragraph for you before we get into the news. At 8:46 a.m. on the morning of September 11th, American Airlines Flight 11 struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Rescorla heard the explosion and saw the tower burning from his office window in the 44th floor of the South Tower, World Trade Center 2. When a Port Authority announcement came over the PA system urging people to stay at their desks, and before United Airlines 175 would strike the South Tower at 9:03, Rescorla ignored the announcement, grabbed his bullhorn, walkie-talkie, and cell phone, and began systematically to order the roughly 2,700 Morgan Stanley employees in the South Tower to evacuate. in addition to the employees in World Trade Center 5, numbering around 1,000. While watching the news coverage, in a phone call to his best friend, Dan Hill, Rescorla said, "The dumb SOBs told me not to evacuate. They said it's just building one. I told them I'm getting my people the F out of here." He directed people down a stairwell from a bottleneck on the 44th floor, keeping people away from the elevators while telling them to remain calm. Rescorla had boosted morale among his men in Vietnam by singing Cornish songs from his youth, and now he did the same in the stairwell, singing songs such as the one based on the Welsh song Men of Harlech. At the end of this, we'll jump down to the end. He says, between songs, Rescorla called his wife, telling her, "Stop crying. I have to get these people out safely. If something should happen to me, I want you to know I've never been happier. You made my life." She replied, you made my life too," before the phone went dead. After successfully evacuating almost all of Morgan Stanley's 2,700 employees, he went back into the building. When one of his colleagues told him he had to evacuate, Rescorla replied, "As soon as I make sure everyone else is out." It's tough to read, man. He was last seen on the 10th floor of the South Tower heading upward shortly before it collapsed at 9:59 a.m. So, yeah, that's tough to read. It's tough to read. These are the stories, my friends, that inspire me. Stories like this growing up, other stories like this, but this one particularly. Not only did he make the right decisions, he saved thousands of lives. And then when he heard that there were still some people left in the building, he decided to go back in to make sure. A total of 13 Morgan Stanley employees died in the attacks, including Rescorla. He had to make sure that everybody was out. None of the bodies that were recovered were ever identified as that of Rescorla. 13 people. Bravo, good sir. I hope more people hear stories like this, and I hope it inspires them to be better people. I hope it inspires them to be the best versions of themselves and do what matters so that we as a people, as a species, as a planet, can succeed and survive. And I see stories like this in direct contrast to the nightmarish political realm that we have today. And I wish we had more brave people who would sacrifice everything to save this country the way he did. So I'll wrap it up by saying this. The reason why this one gets me so emotional, the reason why this story is so inspirational is because today we are beset on all sides by cowards, by people who will not speak up, who will not stand up for what they have to stand up for. And I'm not talking about anything other than going and voting or telling your friends, registering your friends. I mean, there's certainly people who bear more responsibility than others. Individuals who work in law enforcement, perhaps they're at the DOJ and they work in public affairs, and they know in their heart of hearts that the charges against Donald Trump are criminal and a perversion of justice, but these cowards will not speak up. Yet there were great men like this Rick Rescorla, who ran into a building struck by a jumbo jet to make sure he saved every life. And he lost his. And I think about the people that won't even say words because they're scared what they'll get yelled at work. So it's 9/11, and I hope the messages of these stories resonate with those who were too young to have witnessed this. He's not the only one. And I don't mean to ignore any of the other heroic stories of those. There are now, they say, the reporting, I believe, is more firefighters have died from the lung damage from inhaling the toxic air in rescue efforts than those who died in the immediate rescue efforts when the buildings collapsed. So to Rick Rescorla, to everybody who all those who lost their lives, and to all of our men and women in uniform who take those risks every day, or who are willing to just assert that responsibility, even if they're doing something simple like working computers in an administrative role, taking that responsibility from because many of us aren't willing to do it. I respect it, and that's why I'll say this too of the debate for Biden and and Kamala Harris to have ignored the invitations to the memorial for the 13 fallen soldiers who died at Abbey Gate. I don't. There's very little that's more offensive to me. And it's funny because we live in this country where there are people who are offended by not using pronouns, and they don't care that our commander in chief and the vice president declined an invitation to honor fallen soldiers. You know, we can make it political. We can talk about the botched response from, Biden and Kamala and their plan. Kamala's the last one in the room in Afghanistan. We can blame them, make it all political. But I'll say even outside of that, you were invited to meet the families and go to this memorial. And you know what? When Donald Trump showed up, the media insulted and attacked him for it and tried to turn it into a scandal. Because these people are spineless, evil cowards. They don't care for the sacrifice of others. They don't believe in honor, in loyalty. They don't believe in it. So it means nothing to them when they see caskets with flags on them for the men and women who sacrificed their lives. And what does Joe Biden do? Checks his watch. I got places to be. That's disqualifying. You want to insult J.D. Vance? You want to talk about it? No, that's disqualifying. But let's talk about the debate. Let's jump into the debate news and let's roll. Fox News voter panel says Harris won. Oh, did she? Voters slammed Trump for lacking new lines of attack on Harris. So I chose Fox News initially because you'd think Fox News would be a bit more deferential to Trump. But I don't know, probably a lot of people don't think Fox News would be very much at all. Fox News is still corporate press. Voters taking part in a Fox News digital panel reacting to the story, they say Kamala Harris won. Asked who they thought won, 12 voters on the panel raised their hand for Harris, while 5 indicated they believe Trump won. I'll say this. It's not so easy to determine who won this debate, but I'm going to give it to Trump. The media is going to say that Kamala Harris won. The panelists and many people are going to say that Kamala Harris won. The question is not whether you thought Kamala Harris performed better. None of that matters. The question is, did Donald Trump feel motivated, indignant? Did he feel like he will bring change? Or did it feel like he meant to bring change? Kamala Harris's, her demeanor, the hand on the chin thing and looking at Trump and smirking and being smug, even Frank Luntz pointed out, she may be winning on points, but the image is bad. The image comes off as condescending, unconcerned, and indifferent. Donald Trump certainly got heated in a lot of areas that I think were bad for him. I think overall, when I look back at what happened, I see a passionate Donald Trump saying they are destroying this country, and why hasn't she fixed it now? He brought it up, I think, 2 or 3 times. Go to D.C. right now, get the bill done. Do it. Why won't you do it? And Kamala Harris just was smug. And they want to claim that she won for this reason, because she seemed cool and collected. They don't get it. He is still in his head basically trying to run against Joe Biden, one voter said. Another voter knocked Trump for not bringing fresh ideas to the stage. Trump was so bad. He's just like an old suit from 1987 right now. He just repeats himself, says the same stuff, and she's refreshing in that she's different. I think if he had a different line of attack with her, it would have been more effective. Trump could have won this debate handily. So I'm going to say this. When I say I'm going to give it to Trump, I'm not saying he won the debate per se. I'm saying he won the optics. I think Kamala Harris actually, it's tough to say. Look, all of the corporate press and Democrats are screaming Kamala Harris won. And everyone on the right is saying that Donald Trump clearly won. It was 3 against 1. The moderators were attacking Trump. Well, let's break some things down. David Muir, and I forgot the other woman's name, but they fact-checked Trump anytime he said something. Kamala Harris spit off like 3 lies in 1 sentence, and they did nothing. The very fine people hoax. No fact check. Why didn't he jump in and say, Madam Vice President, actually, that has been debunked. Trump did not do that. He didn't fact check him. Trump says they're eating dogs. They go, actually, Donald Trump, you're wrong. Why was Trump debating the moderators? Anyway, that gets me going. But I think people just don't get it. I think they don't get it. Look, you want to do a breakdown assessment of everything? Fine. The right says Trump won. The left says Kamala Harris won. Have fun. Who cares? A lot of people are saying, it doesn't matter because no one's mind is going to be changed. No, that's not true. That's a cope, okay? Donald Trump could have crushed Kamala Harris the way he did Joe Biden, and we all know he crushed Joe Biden. When Donald Trump debated Joe Biden only a couple months ago, he was calm, he was collected, and he brought the zingers. Joe Biden was fumbling, bumbling, and out of his mind. How did Donald Trump respond? He says, yeah, you beat Medicare, you beat it to death. Calm, zinger. And it worked. He says, this man is bad for our country. We've got to stop it. That was winning a debate. In fact, Trump won the debate so handily, Biden dropped out. This debate last night. I'm hearing now a lot of people saying, oh, no one's going to change their mind. Get out of here. Trump could have done it. I think that Trump got a little too heated. Kamala Harris had one goal, and it was to push Trump's buttons. And Trump walked into some of them. But I don't think it's the apocalypse for Donald Trump. I think the media was always intent on saying Kamala Harris won no matter what happened. And then they're going to come out and be like, her polls are improving. They needed a soundbite, any amount of them, so that they could put out clips and say Kamala crushes Donald Trump. Trump needed to be on his A+ game because this was weighted against him. Now, again, I'll say this. In terms of the political ramifications of this, I actually think Trump is favored here. Of course, everyone's going to claim their person won, but let's get into a little bit more. We have from Vox, how Kamala Harris goaded Trump into a debate train wreck. Harris found Trump's biggest weakness, his ego. I don't completely agree with Vox's assessment, but I think it's fair to say. So this tweet from this guy, Sal Gentile, says, it's so funny how for weeks everyone telegraphed she's going to bait him. And her team was like, we're going to bait him. And he managed to act normal for like 3 minutes. And then she said one thing about his rallies, and it was like feeding a gremlin after midnight. I don't disagree. She said people leave Donald Trump's rallies early. And Trump immediately said, no, they're not. No, they're not. Listen, guys, there were several instances where Trump went into these personal lines of attack that he didn't need to. And the rallies is a great point. When she said people leave his rallies early, I'm sorry. Look, I'm not Donald Trump. Maybe you guys like it. Maybe you didn't, whatever. Let me just tell you what I would do. If I'm debating Kamala Harris and she said people don't show up, people might show up to Tim Pool's rallies and they leave early. My response would just be, Madam Vice President, I don't know that the American people care to hear about whether or not someone's entertained by a rally. I think they're more interested in your position on the economy and why you haven't done anything in 3.5 years to combat inflation, to bring these prices down. But if you want to talk personal beef and turn this into, 8 Mile rap battle, by all means, let's see what the American people think about that. That's the answer we needed to hear. Trump instead said, no, my rallies are good. And he defended his rallies. I am not trying to come down on Trump and say he did everything bad. I actually think they're underestimating how well Trump did when they say this. But I think it's important to criticize Donald Trump in some of these areas. So NPR has 4 debate takeaways. 1, they say the debate wasn't close. Here we go, NPR. I'd like to stress, my friends, that there's this NPR story that went viral where some of their male hosts had testosterone levels around 140. I don't know if you know what that means, but that basically means you need medication. These guys are low T to the point where they're at medical risk. I don't know. This is a story that went viral where someone said doctors recommend medication if your T levels are that low. So shut it, NPR. They go on to say the majority of the focus coming into Tuesday was about Harris would handle her first ever presidential debate with someone who had been on this stage many times. Could she answer questions about her position shifts, parry attacks from Trump, someone who tries to be the alpha on these stages? Could she answer the attack that she's light on policy? And could she appear presidential? They say she explained her shift on fracking. My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. That doesn't explain anything. She said she wanted to ban fracking. That was excellently done by Trump when he called her out over and over on it. That was where he got her, actually. There was one point in the debate where Trump said she wants to ban fracking, and she goes, I need to chime in. I need to answer that. And Weir shut her down, and they moved on. Oh, it wasn't me. I believe it was the woman. Shut her down, and they moved on. And then a few minutes later, she comes back, no, I don't want to ban fracking. That is a major weak point for her. And so Trump's line was good. Harris was far more dominant than Trump from beginning to end. She called him weak and wrong, inverting the political cliche that strong and wrong beats weak and right. Harris answered questions, then redirected and baited him on a host of issues. Silly nonsense. The first question of the debate, which was shocking to me, was, are people better off now than they were 4 years ago. And Kamala goes, I believe in an opportunity economy. And with my economy, people are going to see blah, blah. She didn't even answer the question. Why? Trump's response out the gate. So I'll put it like this. We'll call it a bell curve for Kamala Harris. In the beginning, it was miserable for her. She failed to answer questions. Trump hit her with these powerful attacks on policy. Towards the middle, Kamala got Trump flustered and angry. But at the end is where I think Trump hit it home. He got the final word, and that matters a lot. He said, why hasn't she done this now? She's the vice president. All of these problems exist because of her. And you know what? It shows. Take a look at this from CNN's focus group.
Is actually going to make our country better. And we're in an incredibly unique situation where we've had both of the candidates in office before, and we've gotten to see what they would do. And when facts come to facts, my life was better when Trump was in office. The economy was higher, inflation was lower, things were better overall. And now with Kamala's administration, things haven't been so fantastic. And she's saying she can fix the problems that her administration has caused, but I just don't know if I can afford to take that risk. It was actually
Yeah, you can't afford to take that risk, and you shouldn't afford to take that risk. Kamala has proven herself over the last several years. Donald Trump, look, you want to get into the political, you want to get esoteric. We don't need to. But Trump has got his feet cemented by Russiagate, by the Ukraine scandal, and then by COVID. I don't blame Joe Biden or Donald Trump for the pandemic. We can get into I'll tell you, wow. One thing that was crazy was Kamala Harris admitting that the virus came from Wuhan. Holy crap. That it came from, she basically said that the Chinese government withheld the information on the origin of COVID. And we were all kind of stunned at the show, like, whoa. That was big from Democrats. They've conceded a lot there. But anyway, I don't blame Trump or Biden for the fact that the pandemic happened. The issue is the first 3 years of Trump were good. The economy had improved. 2019, the best numbers of our lives. Amazing to see, really. Then the pandemic hits. It's bad. People say, oh, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden, ballot harvesting largely, in my opinion. I think Trump still won the argument. Biden becomes president, Kamala Harris vice president. What we end up seeing is, sure, for the first year, we're still coming out of the pandemic. Fine, I'll give him that. But 3 years later, what have you done? This is more than enough time to set things right and get things going better. But you know what the problem is? $250 billion to Ukraine. And if that's going to be your priority, the American people are going to suffer. And we're going to ask why? Why? And so here we are. I think, as this woman points out, the debate, it shows us something simple. Kamala Harris represents the same, but she's a lion. And Trump can say it over and over again. Why haven't you done it now? He should have relied on that more. NPR says she got under Trump's skin, something he usually tries to do, by saying that people at his rallies leave early out of exhaustion and boredom, painting him as out of touch and a bad businessman for inheriting $400 million on a silver platter, and then filed for bankruptcy 6 times, and chiding him for being fired by 81 million people. Yeah, Trump's not good at this. She knew exactly where to strike at Trump, and Trump, he's got an ego. It's fascinating when I tell Trump supporters that Trump's got an ego, and it's fine that he does. And if his motivation, I'll tell you this, I think Trump's motivation for president is not altruism. I think altruism is a component of Donald Trump. I think ego is also a component of Donald Trump. I think it's silly to deny that. But many Trump supporters tell me, no, I don't agree. Donald Trump is doing this out of the goodness of his heart because he wants to help America. And I'm like, well, hold your horses there, my friend. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just not going to pretend like Donald Trump is a saint who is only motivated by doing good for the world. He is motivated by doing good. I believe he is a good dude. The stories are copious, numerous. Donald Trump walking up to his staff, handing out $100 bills. Everywhere I've ever been that, all of Trump's properties, every employee says he shows up and just hands out $100 bills. He can, and he helps people. There's a story where his car broke down. I think it was his limo, and a guy got out to help him change the tire. Next thing you know is his mortgage gets paid off. Donald Trump doesn't have to do that. $1 million loan. But I do believe it's fair to say Trump wants people to love and respect him. There's nothing wrong with that. He puts his name on big buildings. He demands respect. He fights for respect. A large component of what drives this man is that he wants to be recognized for the good things he's doing. I think that's fine. Some people hear that and they think it's an insult or it's degrading to the man. I don't think so. I think that's great. His motivation is, I just want people to know that I'm trying my hardest, that I'm good, that I can do great things. And in order to do that, you have to help people. You have to build great things. You have to help people. A lot of people credit Donald Trump for being a large component of saving New York City in the 80s by bringing back luxury, reducing crime, increasing revenue for the city. And he puts his name in big gold letters on buildings, his brand. I think that's fine. But I got to tell you, the response from Trump on all of these points, when she said $400 million on a silver platter and then filed for bankruptcy 6 times. You see, the reason why it gets under Trump's skin, and I totally get it, I really do, is because it's not true. It's true that Donald Trump filed for bankruptcy on 500 plus businesses that he's run, and bankruptcy isn't a failure, it's protection. So, well, of course, somebody who's run hundreds and hundreds of businesses is going to have bankruptcies. It's silly, but it misconstrues. And so Trump gets flustered by it. Fired by 81 million people. Trump absolutely, in my opinion, did get flustered. His response, again, should always just be, I'll say it like I said earlier, if I'm debating someone and they say, yeah, well, you did this, you did that, blah, 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 I would just go, okay. I mean, look, are we going to talk about what's going to help the American people, or do you just want to just fling insults at me? I'm not sure. I mean, it may be entertaining for a lot of people watching. Maybe a lot of people don't like me, but I'd like to just do my best to make sure we can help people pay their bills. That is a crack right back. Trump needed to hit that. And he didn't. However, Trump did have one great correction. When he brought up the 2020 election, he was asked if he thought that he lost, and he went in and he refused to back down for a few minutes. And then he stopped and said, but look, it's old news. We've got to focus on it. He caught himself. Respect. However, the immediate response, Trump got flustered. He did. Okay. The immediate response when, do you think you lost the 2020 election? If I was Trump, if I was Trump, I'd act like Trump. But if it was me up there, I'd simply just smirk and say, come on, this is 4 years ago. We can sit here and rehash the past and go over all of these things that have been played out. I'd like to talk about why we have an immigration problem. I'd like to talk about why we're hearing stories of migrants taking waterfowl from the park in front of children. I mean, look, you say it's not true, but why are people claiming it? Why are the people in Springfield, Ohio saying these things? We have to ask these questions. But if you want to sit here and just talk about 4 years ago, well, sure, I guess. Flip it on them every time. Anytime Kamala Harris went after Trump and tried to insult him, Trump could have easily been like, Madam Vice President, are we going to talk about how we're helping the American people, or do you just want to insult me all day? Okay, because I don't think, sure, maybe entertaining, but boring for most people who are trying to figure out what's going on. I got to give it to Trump, though. I got to give it to Trump for one of the most glorious moments in the history of presidential debates. Ladies and gentlemen, for all that you might think of Donald Trump, he had the zingers. And the zingers are everything. The media does not get it because you'd be in jail. Bang! Historical presidential moment. Only Rosie O'Donnell, historic presidential moment. They don't understand this. We are in a short attention span economy. People are on TikTok. Do you think on TikTok they're going to sit there staring at Kamala Harris going, well, my plan is an opportunity economy where we're going to implement a plan that helps the American people? They're going to be like, next. Or they're going to pull up the video where Trump goes like this.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
That was so good. One of the best moments in the debate, there were 2 of them. Trump saying, I am talking now, please. Trump got the I'm speaking. Everybody knew Kamala wanted that one. Trump got it. Zingers are everything. People don't understand. These people, they're going to be on TikTok, they're going to be on Instagram, and they're not going to watch a 5-minute essay from Kamala Harris saying Donald Trump received $400 million on a silver platter, and his rallies. It's okay. Same thing I can say though. When Trump gets flustered. When Trump gets flustered, those will be the sound bites. But the zingers, ladies and gentlemen, the zingers, So Trump Daily Post on X says, Comrade Kamala is going around wanting another debate because she lost so badly. Just look at the polls. It's true with prize fighters. Now, I think it's very silly. C-SPAN asked Twitter. Twitter says, 2-1, Trump won. Daily Caller, they say, who won tonight? Trump, Harris, or the moderators? Yeah. Trump. And then we have Newsmax, Trump 93%, and Wall Street Silver, Trump 83%. But listen, guys, the media is claiming Harris won. Social media is claiming Trump won. Okay, just you pick. But how about this? We just pull up the archives. You Google search Hillary won the debate right here. Echelon Insights polling showed that Clinton won the debate 48-22, and that the debate made 41% of respondents more likely to vote for Clinton. Wow, that worked out really well for her. A Reuters Ipsos poll found that 56% of Americans thought Clinton did better. Indeed. Majority of voters say Clinton won the first 2016 presidential debate. Wow, 2016 election. Hillary won. This was, in my opinion, here's Politico. Hillary Clinton won the second debate. Here's 538. Nate Silver. Clinton won the debate, which means she'll likely gain in the polls. I don't think he's wrong, but they all kept saying she won the debate, and they don't understand. Now, Nate Silver saying the same thing. Kamala Harris got the debate she wanted. I do think she did get things she wanted. She needed to be present on a stage with Donald Trump and to hold her position, and I think she did. It's meaningless to me. I think it's meaningless. Nate Silver says, we'll see where the model is in 2 weeks, but 4 huge mistakes in the Trump campaign. 1, Vance, meandering convention speech, blowing a moment of goodwill, not prepared for the Harris swap, clearly not prepped for tonight's debate, and or incapable of sustained A game, and arguably accepting early Biden debate. Well, I don't know. Nate Silver was predicting that Donald Trump was going to win. And I think we have, do I have it pulled up? I guess I don't have the Silver. Oh, I do. It's right here. This is Silver Bulletin. Let me pull up the actual forecast model. The actual forecast model now has Donald Trump down. He's still 2-1 to win, though. 61.3 to Harris's 38.4. However, this is from yesterday. So we'll see what happens following the polling from the debate. The reason why this matters is that everybody predicted it. Everyone was saying that they're going to claim Trump is winning. The debate's going to happen. Then they'll go, oh, wow, look how great Kamala actually is. Then they're going to invert everything and say Kamala's winning. But I'm going to tell you this. This is from NYU. What if Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton had swapped genders? A restaging of the presidential debates with an actress playing Trump and an actor playing Clinton yielded surprising results. This is interesting. Many people thought that Clinton lost because of sexism. Hillary Clinton actually won the debates. Where was the sexism then when the media was saying she won the debates? But she lost the election. And they say sexism. So you know what they did? They said, I think people are sexist. Let's invert the genders. Make a woman read Trump's lines and make a man read Hillary's. And they got a suit-wearing, glasses-wearing man, smug and snooty, to the indignation of Trump as a woman. And guess what? People still favored the woman. What the media doesn't get is that perception is everything. Man, I can only say it so many times, you know what I mean? And I think you guys get it. Imagine there are 2 people and you see one guy with his glasses and he's pushing up and going, excuse me, you're an imbecile, okay? An ignoramus, if you would. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're pathetic and bloated. You want to bring management to this company? You have no idea what you're doing. And then you have a working class Joe looking guy, not saying Trump is, but I'm saying on the other side, you have a guy being like, listen here, buddy, these people are in trouble, they're hurting, and you're saying nothing. I got to tell you, who's going to fight for you? What they don't get is that most people who are not paying attention to politics are not convinced by the snooty hand on the chin. Well, Trump. They're not convinced by this. Guys, I love this subject. Let me break it down for you, my friends. Y'all know me. I used to do nonprofit fundraising. And I cannot stand that these people don't learn their lesson. When I worked for all these, I worked for, there's nonprofits that contract out to other nonprofits. So I done fundraising on behalf of Environment America. It's various states. These are called the PERG groups. I did fundraising for Greenpeace, the ACLU, Children's International, Save the Children, the Human Rights Campaign. Look at all these progressive lefty things, huh? They don't learn their lessons. What they train these people to do is they say, here's the script. We want you to stand with your feet, apart, shoulders open, hands out. You wave and smile, and then you read the script to them. And it doesn't work. These people are morons. The game they're playing is throw as many people on the streets as possible and hope that your margins are slightly above your cost. That's it. I tried explaining to them. That's not what sells people. That's not how you sell people on these things. And the script would go like this. It's like the first thing you do is problem, introduction, organization, or a solution or whatever. So you're basically like, hey, do you have a minute to talk about whatever? And you've heard people say this. They'll be like, hey, you got a second to talk about the environment? And people go, nah, and they walk away. They ignore you. Well, you just lost a donor, okay? Because your stupid question. This is what Democrats think. Walk up to people and go, I'm here fighting for the environment. Oh, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. These people don't know people. They don't understand. And that's what the Democrats are doing on stage. I love this stuff, okay? I love it. I was really good. I was a nation's best. Let me tell you, my friends, about how to actually do a sale. It's called The Big Ask. So they want you to tell people like, hey, you got a minute to talk about this thing. Sometimes people stop and say, sure. And you say, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm with insert organization. Every company says you must do this. Then you bring up the problem. Did you know that problem X, Y, and Z is causing problems A, B, and C? Then you give them a solution. That's why we're asking you for $15 per month so that you can help. Oh, spare me, dude. That stuff works rarely. Let me tell you what works. First of all, you want to get someone to stop and talk to you on the street? It depends on the person, okay? But I'll make it simple. How does a man get a man to stop and talk to him on the street? Do you wave to the man and say, hi, sir, would you like to talk about the environment? That's what these Democrat liberal groups think. No. You want to know what I do? I walk up to the guy and I stick my hand out like that. And you know what the guy does? He stops and shakes my hand. And I say, sir, and then I shake his hand and say, we're here because you and I are going to make a difference. You ready for this mission? That's what I say. I say, not supposed to do that. They're like, no, you can't do that. Like, get out of here. Don't waste my time, okay? Democrats don't understand people. They understand, like, statistics and math. This is what they say about George W. Bush. I remember when George W. Bush won, it's like, how could the man have won? He's an imbecile. And everybody said, yeah, but he talks like he's a regular guy. He talks like he's talking to you like at a bar. They'd say, yeah, he said, SNL made fun of him. The famous line, we need strategery. And they all laugh. Ha ha, he's so dumb. I'm going to throw it out there. Donald Trump's well-done steak with ketchup. I don't get it, man. Working class Joes ain't going out and buying filet mignon, okay? They ain't going out buying the filet mignon and getting it dry aged and pan-seared. You bake it a little bit, you pan-sear it. They're going to the local grocery store and they're grabbing what they can get. And the prices are through the roof. Beef is super expensive. And so there's a lot of people that, one, either don't know how or don't care. And you know what? When I grew up, my dad always tried to cook the steaks right, but oftentimes it would be just medium and I'd slop some ketchup on it. That's it, just working class families. My dad's a firefighter. Now, every so often, he'd come back and say, we got the good stuff. But it's not like we could afford to eat filet mignon every single day. It was rare. It was expensive. And they make fun of Trump for these things. You want to sell someone. You meet them where they're at. So right now, let me tell you this. My ultimate assessment, before we move on to the next subject, which is Taylor Swift, and then more issues in the debate. We'll talk about Taylor Swift's endorsement. I want to stress this point. We'll read your super chats too. If I, right now, was going out on the street to talk to people and say, we need your support, Donald Trump is the guy, the last thing I'm going to do is stand there with my hand on my chin and say, listen, this country, okay, needs a real opportunity economy. They're going to be like, I don't care, dude. Like, I don't know what this is. But if I went to someone on the street and said, excuse me, a moment of your time, okay? This country is in serious trouble. Please, just a minute of your time. We've got the worst president and vice president. People can't afford to pay their bills. Something has to be done about it. People are going to be like, interesting. Now, of course, there'll be some people who'll be put off by it. You gotta be delicate with it. But I'm telling you, the Kamala approach, I look at it and I'm just like, you think that wins people over? I met people face to face Okay, I was a nation's best fundraiser. That approach is garbage. The snooty liberal elites, this is what they think people want. It's no surprise to me the corporate press is cheering on Kamala Harris for everything she did, and I'll give her some of it. Trump did get flustered. But I got to tell you, in my experience when it came to campaigning, I did voter registration for these organizations as well. I got to tell you, man, walking up to someone and saying, excuse me, we need to talk about the environment. Right now, they're going to be like, huh? I'm out of here. That's not how you get people to stop and talk to you. That's not how you get them interested. It's not how you get them to focus on it. There's a bunch of different techniques, but the one always is you need to be impassioned. Donald Trump had that in spades. And so we'll see. I suppose we'll see, right? You know, this woman, while they're all voting saying Kamala won the debate, I don't think, man, you know, this is really, it reminds me of it's like, when you do these, you see these dating things like, what do women want? And it's like women say they want these things. And it's like, but do they really want these things? Voters are sitting there saying Kamala Harris looked good. She sounded great. But do they really want that? Do voters really like, we all know what it means to have proper decorum. And we can sit there and say Kamala Harris acted professionally. But do we really want that? No, I think most Americans just want righteous indignation to be sated. I think many Americans right now that are angry and that are willing to be swayed. Now, there's people who hate Trump. There's people who like Trump. But there are people who don't pay attention. And I can tell you this for a fact. A lot of people say everyone's made up their mind. Come on, spare me, dude. Right? We know that there are other people who have not, though I think it's fair to say it is hyperpolarized. There's very few relative to how many there used to be. But I got to tell you, if there's a guy who doesn't know and doesn't care, doesn't follow politics, and he just wants to watch football, and he's sitting there being like, hey, man, sorry, guys, I couldn't get the steaks. It's like $20. So, you know, we got wings instead, but we're good with wings, right? And then he's sitting there being like, man, just wanted to have some steaks with the boys. We're going to put some steaks on the grills. We're going to, watch the game. Prices are too high. Or how about this? Worse still. Hey, guys, I know Monday Night Football's back, but I got to work OT. You know, look, it's been rough on the family. I got to work overtime. He doesn't care about Kamala Harris. He doesn't know about why this is happening. Those are the people Trump is going after. It's people he needs to win over. We'll see how he does. So we'll jump over to the next story. Taylor Swift. Oh, boy. Taylor Swift. Before we do, we're going to go to your super chat. So smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel. Share the show right now if you do like it. You may notice I'm a little sick. I got to be honest. This morning, I'm lying in bed, sitting there being like, there's no way I can do the show. And I took an ibuprofen and decided I'd do it anyway. You know, I don't know. I think I'll be fine by tomorrow. These things are always so fleeting. But, going to keep working for you guys. And we have a rule here at Timcast. I tell everybody, if you think you are getting sick, stay home. And it was funny because the other day, Raymond G. Stanley Jr. was like, I was like, man, I think I might be getting sick. And he was like, my boss says if you're getting sick, stay home. And I'm like, it's the opposite for me. Everybody else goes home if they feel like they're getting sick because if I can't work, then we can't do the show. Then, look, I host the show and I produce it, right? So for me, now it's the opposite. For me, I have to come in when I'm sick. But I don't feel so bad, whatever. I popped an ibuprofen, just one, not two, just one. Go to timcast.com, click join us, become a member if you want to support our work. We'll grab some super chats for you guys and we'll read what you have to say about this before we get into, look, all the stories today is debate stories, okay? Taylor Swift is citing the debate and other issues. All right, here we go. Bucket Aquatic says they literally fact-checked Trump with lies. Harris even said Trump wanted to get rid of the Constitution. They gave Trump no time to respond to the accusation. This wasn't a debate, just 2 hours of ABC lying for Kamala. We knew that was the case. Trump had everything to lose here. That's the issue. They knew going into this, Trump's team knew that ABC was biased, that they were going to rig it for Kamala. They were going to wait it for her. Congratulations. We all knew. Peter Gohawk says, I literally can't believe she brought up the very fine people hoax and all the other easily debunked lies about Trump. These people are evil fake news. How about this? David Muir did not correct Kamala Harris when she brought it up. She said the very fine people hoax, and Trump was like, that's debunked. That was debunked. Trump could have responded better. I'm not saying that it's an F, a failure or anything like that. But we all know there are better answers and better responses, and Trump could have given them, but he didn't. So it was not the best it could have been. I don't know if Trump could do better, but whatever. But David Muir should have said, Madam Vice President, that is not correct. That story was fact-checked numerous times over the past 7 years. Donald Trump did not call neo-Nazis very fine people. Where was he? The White Trash Panda says 1 like equals 1 run spot run. Holy crap. I'm speaking. Please. Run spot run. Wow. The room. So we're in this room. It was a bunch of congressional staffers and members of Congress, and the whole room erupted in laughter when Trump said that. Her economic plan, it's like 4 sentences, like run spot run. That was great. Trump had the zingers, man. They don't get it. They really don't get it, do they? Well, whatever. It's fine. I think Kamala Harris will gain some from this. I think it helps Trump too. Meme says, how much do you think Trump won by? If we are going by percentage, IMO would be around 54 to 56. The closing statement really helped him out. It did. But I don't know if it's so easy to break down in just who won and who didn't. There's a lot of questions they asked. Who performed well? I think Kamala performed better than Trump did. Who had a bigger impact on the voter base? Donald Trump did. Kamala Harris was auditioning for Democrats so that they could say nice things about her. Donald Trump was bringing passion and righteous indignation. But it is tough. There's a bunch of ways you can break this down, and everyone has a different metric by what winning means. I know for a fact the polls will improve. We said this during the show. I said before the show started, she's going to do better than people think. And I'm saying that because it's a possibility it will happen. And a lot of these conservatives who are laughing, saying she's going to get roasted and she'll lose, are going to regret it. But, I said, obviously, after the debate, her polls are going to improve. They're going to say that's what she needed to turn things around. We'll see where this ends up. All right. Veronica Claire says, how come nobody before, during, or after the debate mentioned BRICS or the end of the petrodollar and what they plan to do about it? I suppose I can say this. I wish it were me up there. I wish I were there. I would have loved to have brought up a bunch of those things. That's just me, though. But I ain't Trump. Trump's going to do what Trump does, and Trump's the guy. I certainly ain't running. So, yeah, I got to be honest. My view of this was... could you imagine Ben Shapiro debating Kamala Harris? Ben would absolutely annihilate Kamala Harris in a debate. Much, much better than Trump could. That's the thing. I watched this video of Charlie Kirk debating on abortion. And I just can't watch this stuff. It was a Jubilee thing. And he's debating. It's just, I'm so tired of the surface level debates. Like, no disrespect to Charlie Kirk or anything, but a woman being like, a fetus is not a baby. And then Charlie's like, what does fetus mean? It means little human. And it's like, what are you talking about? I don't even know. What is this? Okay. What are you even debating? My question is, and Charlie did mention this, what is the difference in moral value between whatever, like, okay, call it whatever you want. I don't know. You're saying that one, it's okay to terminate. One is not okay to terminate. Abortion, of course, was a big issue. I don't know if Trump did as well as he could have done, but anyway, my point is simply, for me to debate abortion, my response to a lot of these people is right away. I got to be honest. I'm not a pro-life conservative, okay? And so I think that gives me a very easy path towards debating these pro-choicers that pro-lifers don't want to engage in. And, whatever. My simple question to a lot of these people is, the first thing is call it a baby, call it a fetus, call it whatever you want. Let me just try to understand your position so I can give you mine. Do you think there should be, is there a time frame? You think that after a certain amount of time, we shouldn't allow the abortion? They're going to say no. And then say, so do you think, if it's been 8 months of gestation, do you think an abortion is okay? And they always deflect. That doesn't happen. My response immediately is let him finish and just say, okay, yeah, I didn't say it happened. I'm saying, do you think that would be okay? And guess what they say? Yes. Say, oh, okay. So you likely would see some of it happen if we make that legal, right? I mean, it's not going to be absolute. You got to break them down. You know what I mean? Anyway. All right. Let's grab some more super chats here. What do we have? Markish says it's happening, but it's a good thing on the cat story is going to be hard to spin. Well, there's already, we got some clips pulled up. This is TPUSA's Frontlines reporters. And they interviewed people in Springfield, Ohio being like, yep, it's happening. It's just like, there's a guy and he's in a chair be like, oh yeah, we hear tons of stories. People getting their dogs taken. And it's just, and the city's like, but we have no evidence. Witness testimony is evidence. But it's all first hand, second. What do you think's going to happen? Do you think someone's dog goes missing and they chase the guy down and film him barbecuing a dog? I don't think they're eating dog. I think the story is misconstrued. However, I've got some evidence for you. The media wants to dismiss it, and it's silly. All right, I got something like hair in my eye or something. All right, let's go. That dragon fruit says, 07 for Rick Rescorla. What a man. What a hero. Yeah. That's a story for the kids, you know? There should be someone should make a comic about that, right? So that you want to show a superhero story to a child to inspire them to know what we care about and the values we hold dear. It's a story like that. But it's not just this man. It's every firefighter. And it's every police officer and it's every service member. And what I mean to say is, because I know the libertarians are going to say, law enforcement, blah, blah, blah. Bad people are bad people. Okay, I'm talking about every firefighter running into that burning building. Every police officer running towards the sound of gunfire. Every service man and woman who enlist knowing what that responsibility could bring. You know, there are a lot of people who are in the armed forces and they work on a computer. Domestically, or they repair refrigerators. I still respect it. You know, that Nate Phillips guy said he was, the insinuation was a Vietnam vet. He's a Vietnam era veteran. And he repaired refrigerators or whatever. And I'm like, I still respect it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to pretend he was like a combat guy or anything, but service is service. You know what I mean? All right, let's go. We'll grab a couple more before we jump to this next story. Maybe just one or two more. Shifter 5W says, look up Nova H1 audio earrings. Cope. Nah, it's a cope. She's wearing Tiffany or whatever earrings. We're going to talk about this. I've got the story pulled up. The idea that Kamala Harris needed audio earrings is just silly. Okay, I think it's just silly. There's always some conspiracy about an audio. Who cares if there is? Who cares if there is, you know? All right. Let's go. Straight Shooter says, after Biden's performance in the last debate, it gave her a low threshold for success. Yeah. Disturbed Turtle says, I don't believe 100% of what Trump says, but I believe 0% of what Kamala says. Indeed, indeed. All right. Deplorable Pirate Captain Gunbeard says, the moderators having to step in and defend Kamala and attack Trump make her look weak. It's true, it's true. But we got to understand what are people going to... What are people going to get out of this? Sound bites. Trump had the sound bites. I'm sorry, he did. Trump had them all. The run spot run, the wake Biden up. Maybe he's probably sleeping. He spends all his time on the beach. I mean, those zingers were hot. The quiet please. When Trump said, excuse, I'm talking now. Just the zingers. Absolutely fantastic. Soapy Enigma says, is there a site for the boonies? I'm looking to pick up a board. Not yet, but the boards, we got a new U.S. manufacturer. We do have, I believe we're getting a couple thousand boards. We have a promotion that we're working on. We have to check the legal on it. What we're hoping for is that with Boonies HQ, I think it's boonieshq.com, but it's an old site. It's not done by any means. But once we get the new site up, we're going to have a membership program. A lot of ideas we're working on. Nothing's definitive, but membership gets you direct involvement in judging for the skateboarding and the action sports stuff we'll be doing. And we're also planning on doing giveaways for free boards for the first people who do something to become members, but we have to check legal on that before we do. So we'll just grab one more here before we jump to the Taylor Swift story. Hollywood Cashios says, anything to the ear jewelry Kamala Harris wearing being an earbud, search wireless earbuds double as pearl-studded earrings. It's a cope. I don't care. I don't care if Joe Biden stood next to her, along with, I don't know, Josh Shapiro and Tim Waltz. And they all debated Donald Trump. Okay? Meaningless. But we're going to talk about Taylor Swift. Because Taylor Swift is big, and she's endorsed this morning, based off the debate, she has endorsed Kamala Harris. But allow me to blow my nose real quick. And then we'll get back to the news. I do also get I get fall allergies. It's super annoying. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are ready. From the New York Times, Taylor Swift has formally endorsed Kamala Harris. Her Instagram post backing the vice president came shortly after Ms. Harris and former President Donald Trump had stepped off the debate stage. I'm going to say it again. Donald Trump's MAGA diehards are bad for his campaign. Donald Trump's moderate fans are the best possible thing for his campaign. Now, hold on. Don't get your panties in a bunch here, gentlemen. I am not saying that it is a bad thing that Trump has diehard supporters. Trump's diehard supporters do great things for him. They donate to him. They rally for him. These are all really, really great things. But in the PR space, with Taylor Swift, we all expected her to endorse the Democrat anyway. But she is leveraging this, online memery and things against Trump as her vehicle to deliver an endorsement for Harris as an attack vector. This shouldn't exist. Joe Rogan is a bigger issue, in my opinion. Joe Rogan said RFK Jr. is the only one that made sense. And he got roasted for it. Trump said he's going to get booed at UFC. I said to these MAGA guys, stop. Why are you attacking moderates? You need to try and befriend them. And they just go, he's a stupid guy. I didn't like his show anyway. And then RFK Jr. endorses Donald Trump. And RFK comes out and says, a Trump victory is an RFK victory. Why did Joe go and attack Joe Rogan? Right now, could you imagine this? Joe Rogan says RFK Jr. is the only one that makes sense. Imagine if the entire Trump sphere of the biggest supporters, the diehards with millions of followers, said, we love you, Joe. We love you, Joe. We're huge fans of your show. We know you're a smart guy. We know you're paying attention. Hopefully you'll come around. Then RFK endorses Trump. And then every single MAGA guy could have been like, Joe, the door is open. RFK is with us. Are you? Instead, they insult and attack the guy. And he says, all they're going to do is attack you. And you push him away. And now a lost opportunity. I am going to tell you right now, I was right. Okay. I'm not right about everything. I'm wrong about a lot of things. Okay. But I was saying it. RFK Jr. is on Team Trump right now. The opportunity was to go to Joe and just be like, we've always been nice to you. We're big fans of your show. How do you deny it at this point? If RFK Jr. is the only one that makes sense, you got to vote for Trump. Don't get me wrong, the argument still exists, but it's a weakened position. Taylor Swift put out a statement. But the picture of her cat, it's a nice cat. I like the cat. Okay. And they say, look what they made her do. I say, here we go. Don't give the attack vector. But hey, look, I don't know, whatever. I'm going to say this. I don't care what you guys do. You do whatever you want to do. I'm going to do me. I have never attacked Taylor Swift, and it's for this reason. I don't know or care. Okay. She's a prominent celebrity, and I want to win her over as a friend. Plus, her pop songs are good. People are like, her songs are terrible. They're bad. No, they're objectively good songs. She wouldn't have hundreds of millions of fans, okay, if her songs were bad. Like, don't give me that. It's like when people say Trump's a moron. He's a billionaire. Yeah, well, he got lucky. No, he didn't. He's a smart guy who knows how to run business. You don't get to these positions by accident. Taylor Swift makes great pop music, and people start attacking her and ragging on her. And now look where we are. Taylor Swift was one of America's most celebrated pop culture icons, an enormous following. Blah, 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 blah. She endorsed Kamala Harris after the debate. She said, like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. She signed her post Childless Cat Lady. Okay, well, I think they're not giving the full breakdown. Let me just do this. Let me pull up Taylor Swift on Instagram to read you the full statement. It's because New York Times sucks. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here with her picture of her cat and her endorsement of Kamala Harris. So here we go. She says, As a voter, I make sure to watch and read. So they broke down her statement wrong. Like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues and at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you the most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about the proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that AI of me falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. It really conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. She goes on to say, I'll be supporting Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. They fight for the rights and causes that I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she's a steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially to first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I'll link where to register and find early voting dates and info in my story. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, childless cat lady. And there are no comments. They have been disabled. Now, of course, I'm sure we can easily just pull up. Does she not allow comments on any of her posts? That's right. It looks like she doesn't allow any comments on any of her posts. You know why? Her comment section would be inundated by people right now criticizing her. But you know what? It's a powerful endorsement. And I believe I have the story here. Where is it? It flipped it on me, huh? It does that. Flipping it on me. Here we go. We got these different browsers pull up. Here we go. Donald Trump reacts to Taylor Swift, saying she will probably pay a price in the marketplace for Harris endorsement. Taylor Swift was likely going to endorse Kamala Harris no matter what. They were going to find a reason to spin this and harm Donald Trump. That's why the risk is always you are on the uphill battle. You can't make these mistakes. Now, I got to tell you, I don't think Taylor Swift knows up from down on politics. I don't think she knows left from right on politics. But I think she does great music. She's a celebrity with a lot of influence. And I got to tell you, her fan base, millennial women, they are using her as a motivating factor to get people to vote. Now, it's September. We'll see what Taylor Swift has to say. But I will say this. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, she gets attacked relentlessly by the right. It's frustrating. It's stupid. It is just so dumb. Man. I'm flabbergasted by it. The attacks on moderates, independent celebrities, it's just begging to lose. When Taylor Swift was at these football games, and still is, by the way, many people on the right were saying she's going to endorse Kamala Harris, or at the time it was Joe Biden, right? And she's a shill. People were saying she was a psyop, all this stuff. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Right now, there's 38-year-old dad or 40-year-old dad with his teenage daughter, and she comes in and says, Dad, are you watching football? And he's like, yeah, what's up? She goes, can I watch it with you? And he's going to be like, you want to watch football? And she goes, Taylor Swift is going to be there. And he's like, all right, let me grab the chips. And you want a soda? She'll be like, yeah. Dad and his daughter are now watching a football game together because she wants to see Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, who is not Cardi B, who is not singing about WAP or other garbage things. The opportunity for guys, for millennial guys, was to say to these younger women, I'm glad that, imagine a dad sitting with his daughter being like, I'm glad we're hanging out. Create those bonding moments. Look, all of these whack job weird lefties have daddy issues. Taylor Swift was creating a great opportunity for bonding. And you needed to approach it as an understanding, reasoned, and wise man. That is to say, right now, the reaction to Taylor Swift's endorsement, of course, is insult, animosity, cringe, psyop. I ain't going to play those games because I play to win. And my strategy here is make friends. I want my Democrat friend to be like, Tim's a reasonable guy. You know, it was Ian was saying this. Ian Crossland on Timcast IR was talking about how when Jamie Raskin, I think this is what he said. Jamie Raskin played a clip of me reading a Fox article claiming I was calling for, violence or whatever on January 6th. He said that actually was kind of a big wake up moment for his parents because they were like, what? That's not anything you guys talk about. That's crazy. Here's what I want. I want the uninitiated Taylor Swift fan who says, I'm going to vote for Kamala, to be like, those guys were always nice to me. That's it. It's too bad. You can't control it. And they know it and they exploit it. So, hey, look, far be it from me. I'm influential to a certain degree. I'm not influential enough. And that's fine. There's no power that's going to get Trump supporters to stop attacking their political rivals. I got to tell you, man, Donald Trump is the salesman. He knows how to get the job done. And I was talking about this with, I was talking about this on the show a moment ago, but I've talked about it quite a bit in terms of social engineering and manipulation and sales and all the things. You have to approach anyone you're trying to sell as a friend. Rapport is the first step in any sale or social engineering or whatever. So let me tell you how much I love this, right? One of my favorite manipulation con things is you can see con artists talk about this. They'll make a phone call and they need to get something done and it's a guy on the phone. And let's say they want to get a refund on something they don't deserve a refund on, or they want to get information. They try to use relatability. So one of the best examples, a guy calls and he gets a guy on the phone and he's like, look, man, I'm working late. They got me working late because there's some router issue. I'm losing my mind over here. Could you check the router for me? And just there should be some numbers on the back. And then the guy goes, look, I'm busy. I don't know. Can you call back later? And the guy goes, look, dude, I got to get home. My wife's been nagging me all day. Okay. We're supposed to go out for dinner, but now my boss got me working late. I can't leave until it gets done. Please, dude, help a brother out. Relatability. The nagging wife is one of the old classic tricks. And then the guy on the other end laughs and goes, I know, bro. I've been there. Let me get the number for you. It's a manipulation of how I feel. So when we're talking about how to convince people and try and win hearts and minds, you know what you want to do? Taylor Swift endorses Kamala Harris. So when you see someone who is a mindless Taylor Swift fan, and I'm not saying they're stupid, I'm saying their focus is, I love Taylor Swift, I don't know nothing about politics. Okay? Your response always has to be, oh, Swiftie. Yeah, Taylor Swift's pretty good. If you're a guy, if it were me, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not like a huge Taylor Swift fan or anything like that. I don't like buy her albums or any, but her songs are great. I mean, there's a reason why she's a legend. She got a few songs that I think are really, really great. Shake It Off, of course. Classic. You have to have rapport. Then this person says, oh, yeah, you like Taylor Swift too. And then for a dad and his daughter, let's say the dad's in his 50s, his daughter's in her 20s, she's going to be voting. He could be like, oh, yeah, Taylor Swift, she's fun. She does fun stuff. I'm glad that you got, it's much better than that Cardi B, right? And instead, we have anger and animosity. Share of respondents who consider themselves Taylor Swift fans. It is largely 18 to 44-year-old women, female voters. You've got to approach them as friends with rapport. This is what happens. Now, of course, we have the political impact of Taylor Swift, and you can see May 29, 2020. Look at what Taylor Swift's tweet was back then. After stoking the fires of white supremacy and racism your entire presidency, you have the nerve to feign moral superiority before threatening violence. When the looting starts, the shooting starts, we will vote you out in November. Taylor Swift, of course, is going to go left, but she is looking for opportunities, attack vectors, to go after the right, and you have to diminish them. So here we are. Childless cat lady Taylor Swift, she says. Don't give them the opportunities. But hey, look, man, part of me feels that Everything we're seeing has gone to the point of dominoes falling over. As if anyone's going to convince a bunch of middle of the road, average American indignant individuals to adhere to a long-term political strategy, right? There's nothing I can do or say to convince Trump's most diehard supporters to stop insulting and attacking moderates and celebrities. They're going to do it because that's how they feel. And that will be weaponized against Donald Trump. And where we end up? Well, I'll pull up the Silver Bulletin. And of course, right now, following the debate, as of yesterday, Donald Trump dropped to 61.3% chance to win to Harris's 38.4%. It is still Trump's to lose. However, we know where this is going, especially with the endorsement of Taylor Swift. Nate Silver is going to come out and say several things. Kamala was better at the debate. Trump made a mistake. The polls are going to improve because Kamala proved X, Y, and Z. Taylor Swift endorses Kamala Harris. She's going to get a big bump. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think Taylor Swift's endorsement is actually that big a deal. Not at all. Taylor Swift's endorsement is to a bunch of millennial women who are 70% Democrat already. So what is she going to do or say, right? But I'll give a shout out while we're recording to Mr. Obvious, verified in the chat, saying, idiots should be mocked. Tim, you don't convince anyone. Yeah, I don't care. I'm not going to get people like you or Cat Turd to understand the politics of persuasion. Maybe you should take a look at what Scott Adams has to say about a lot of these things, for sure. That guy knows what he's talking about. But I can only tell you that having done the direct activism, what I see, like on the ground for numerous organizations, you know, it's fascinating that there are people who just don't care. Make Trump the enemy. Make him the bad guy. It's fascinating to me that people on the right understand the meme where the Democrats push the middle of the road guy into the arms of Republicans. And the Republican says, are you all right? And the Democrat says, why are you siding with them? It's funny that that comic exists. Let me pull that one up. Red, blue guy, push, siding with them. Let me pull that one up. Oh, silly. Come on, Google. Oh, here we go. There's a bunch of different versions of it. Open in new tab, pull the image up, and let's roll. Here we go. Here's the meme. There's a guy he's white. On the left is a blue guy. On the right is a red guy. And he says both sides make some good points. The blue guy shoves the dude. The red guy catches him. He says, you all right? Yeah, thanks. The Democrat then goes, why are you siding with the bad guys? Now, you got to tell me how it is that Republicans can understand this meme and then gloat and laugh about the fact that they literally do the same thing the Democrats do in this comic. So if you're not smart enough to understand that you are becoming the blue guy, shoving middle of the road people into the hands of Democrats, well, then you deserve to lose. That's it. Don't take it from me. Take it from the meme, which is pointing out this is what Democrats have been doing for a long time. Why is Elon Musk voting for Trump? Why is he going to help run the Department of Government Efficiency? Doge, by the way. Because of this. Why are moderates and disaffected? Why are there disaffected liberals? Why are there post-liberals? Because of this. And then I watched the Trump's most ardent supporters do the same thing the Democrats did. I got to tell you, man, you know what really grinds my gears is the weak meme energy from a lot of these people. Weak memes. They're bad memes, some of the worst. And people praise the bad memes. No, I'm going to show you a good meme. I'm going to show you a good meme, and I'm going to break it down for you, okay? I'm scrolling down from before debate night, and I'm going to show you a good meme from Donald Trump. Jack Posobiec says, the madman. And Trump posted this image of him on a private jet with a bunch of ducks and cats. Trump posted this. He also posted a cat in a MAGA hat with a rifle and body armor. This, my friends, these are the 2016 level memes we need to see from Donald Trump. This is masterful memeing right here. Why? It's a silly image. It's funny. To people who don't understand politics, it's just Trump being silly. He's not saying anything crazy. It's just, what does he do? He's a funny guy. However, if you follow politics, this image encapsulates a political speech. That's the power of a meme, condensing the idea into an image. And what's that idea? Illegal immigrants are disrespecting our laws. They're ignoring our laws. They're violating our social customs and norms. There are numerous stories and reports of cats and ducks being eaten. Now, the media claims it's fake news, but there's a picture of a guy carrying a goose. We don't know exactly if that's true, but there's video of a guy at a town hall meeting being like, yo, they're taking ducks from the park. We're watching it happen. This is witness testimony. It's called evidence. Numerous individuals saying, we'll talk about this in the next segment. My point is simply, when Trump posted the Elon Musk dance, I'm like, no, stop. That is Hillary level memeing. This is the memes we need. You need to be fun and welcoming and exciting and all of that stuff. So by all means, I don't care what you do. You do whatever you want. But I ain't wrong. Donald Trump won largely among, it was 9 million Obama voters switched to vote for Donald Trump because the Democrats went nuts. And now we're seeing more and more people saying the Democrats have gone crazy. I'll be voting Republican for the first time in my life. You cannot attack these people. How many people, big Silicon Valley guys, have we seen who have come out and said, I will not vote Democrat. I am now voting Republican because the Democrats have gone crazy. You need to embrace that message. So when Taylor Swift comes out and says this, the response should be, hey, Taylor, you make great music. You're very influential. And we're sad to see you endorse someone who represents a party that's lost touch with the American people. The working class needs something different. 4 more years of the exact same thing is not what this country needs. That's the response. But we don't get it because people is too heated. We'll see. We got another segment coming up for you in just a moment. This one is the origin of Trump's false claim that immigrants are eating pets. Oh, really? What is this one? The stereotype of immigrants eating dogs and cats is storied and vitriolic as ever. Oh, man. Okay. Here you go. ABC News. Ohio is sending troopers and $2.5 million to a city that has seen an influx of Haitian migrants. A story from yesterday. Now, why are they sending all this money to a town? Could something be happening? Sure. The bizarre debate moment. Trump wildly claimed Haitian migrants are eating pet dogs and cats. That'll be up at 4 p.m. on this channel. For everybody else, we will grab your super chats. So smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, become a member by going to timcast.com and clicking join us. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see y'all at 4. And for everybody else, we will grab some of your super chats. Here we go. All right. Jay Coulter says, instead of just saying he doesn't like Trump, Joe had to cite lies and repeat state media propaganda as why RFK was the only one that makes sense. Don't gaslight me. I get it, Joe. You want to be accepted by Dems. Well, that may be. But I got to tell you, you create a trap. And that trap is you open the door and you let them walk into it. It's simple. I said it before. I'll say it again. Joe Rogan comes out and says Donald Trump and the Democrats, Republicans, they attack people. RFK is the only one that makes sense. The response should be like, I get it. I understand why you feel that way. I don't feel that way. But I mean, all I do is read politics 24/7. Then RFK endorses Donald Trump and says a Trump win is an RFK win. That's what he said. He said that. And then you go, Joe, come on, buddy. Come on over. You want RFK to win, you got to vote Trump. I don't know what else to tell you, buddy. You opened the door to this one. But I'll just add to this too. It's outside of that with Joe. Joe's my friend. He's helped me out tremendously. He's in a bunch of different ways when we got sick with COVID. He's a good guy. There's no reason to insult and attack a guy who's not a politician, who's not in politics. He said, look, don't take it from me. Take it from Dave Smith. Okay, he's a much smarter guy on this stuff. Just stop attacking people who are just middle of the road and don't understand. You know, my response to Joe, just be like, hey, man, that's cool. You know, I'm going to try and win you over, but we chilling. I'm not going to yell at somebody like that's crazy to me, you know? All right. Let's go. What is this one? Something about weird ads playing on my channel. I love it when I get weird ads on YouTube. Like Michael Bloomberg spent a bunch of ads and they appeared on my channel. And I'm like, thanks for the money, Mike. We're going to roast you now. But that's why they buy the ads, because they want to counter what I'm saying. They got to pay. But I wouldn't accept that money personally. KB says Trump would have shown up with flowers at the beginning of the debate. Trump should have shown up with flowers at the beginning of the debate. I'm still undecided, though. The $25K for housing sounds appealing, but I don't trust her to deliver on it. $25K for housing will burn the market down. What happens is every seller will just say, you get a free $25K. You can afford it. It doesn't work that way. It's inverse market competition. If you're trying to sell a house and someone comes to you and says, I can't afford that down payment, you go, well, I got to sell this house, so I'll try and find someone else. But if the market shows everyone's saying, I ain't giving you $300K for your house, then you're not selling. For the government to intervene with $25K, you'll go ask the government. They're giving out money, because if it's not you, someone else will get it. And all they're going to do is they're going to use that program to inflate the cost of housing and then prioritize the people that they think should get houses over you. It's a huge error. Huge, huge error. Rob says, I think Trump needs Cernovich back on his team, and he needs to go on Rogan. Joe needs to invite him on, and Trump needs to be cool, calm, and collected. Joe's not going to have Trump on, but Joe may have RFK Jr. on. I'm not sure. He should. In fact, he should have RFK Jr. and someone else. But Cernovich is great. I think Mike really does understand this stuff very, very well. All right. Jake Holder says, the people who still care about the left's approval can do that. I don't have whatever complex Joe and others have, feeling the loss of their foe G-Pass. Mine's real everywhere I walk in, chin out, head high. All right. I love how the media is claiming that the dog story is debunked. That's what they're claiming. It's literally not. It's literally not. All right. Girl Wright says that last segment about unifying voters is one of the reasons why I listen to you every day, Tim. Hey, I appreciate it. Let me get a drink of water and blow my nose. The perks of doing a live show, even when you get sick. Forgive me. We'll just grab one more. And then Austin Herrera says the release of this endorsement was strategic. Swift is being dishonest by implying that she had time to consider each policy. The time to release of this endorsement, as if the debate bolstered her decision, is dubious AF. You know, what I find fascinating is the timing of the debate. It's 9/11. The news is talking about 9/11. And so that muddies up a lot of this story about what happened after the debate. It's interesting. Just, it is. All right, let's go. We got this story from The Independent. Bizarre debate moment. Trump wildly claims Haitian migrants are eating pet dogs and cats. Oh, heavens me. Here we go.
What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
But the people
I'm
on television saying their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Why is it that a city manager has more credibility than a local resident? Answer me this, David Muir. First of all, why are you debating with Donald Trump? Let Kamala answer that question. Let her respond to Trump. Why is Trump debating the moderator? It's ridiculous. Secondly, as I just mentioned before, again, I don't care what a politician has to say when you've got local residents saying it. Now, I do believe that the claims of pets being eaten, like dogs, I don't know that that's true. But again, that's just me. But how about this? Charlie Kirk, Frontlines. Our Frontlines TPUSA team visits Springfield, Ohio today. Everyone they spoke to has heard stories of people's pets being eaten, as well as ducks and geese disappearing. Here we go.
Come here, you don't want to get eaten up, do you?
You're going to be next, boy.
I ain't eating nothing off of a barbecue pit around here.
Ducks are disappearing.
So the migrants are eating geese, you think? Have you heard of pets being abducted?
Yep. Cats are a delicacy in Haiti.
So it's not that they're poor and eating them because they don't have other food. It is a delicacy like someone would eat escargot.
And then I heard that stuff on Facebook, and I thought, I better watch my dogs.
Well, that wasn't verified.
Springfield, Ohio right now is a tinderbox.
You see what the local just said? The woman said, I heard that on Facebook, and the guy says, well, that wasn't verified. These are good, honest people.
They're killing cats. They're eating geese. They're crashing cars. One of these is going to light, and it's going to be bad.
Part of that is because in the state of Ohio, you cannot use lethal force to protect property, and pets are considered property.
Are you carrying a firearm now to keep yourself safe? How has that changed?
Yes, I do. I got a couple guns, and I'm not afraid to use them. I was raised at the hills.
Well, this is scary.
Our town is a bomb, especially with the influx of immigrants or whatever you want to say, people. It's a time bomb ready to go off.
Now, I got to say, J.D. Vance had a tremendous response when Caitlin Collins said, Trump claimed dogs are being eaten. And J.D. Vance says, it's not been debunked, okay? They're saying there's no credible reports, but we made memes about this because the media is not talking about what happened to the town of Springfield, Ohio. It's a town of 58,000 people that received 20,000 Haitian immigrants. Why? How can that city sustain that? It's a recipe for conflict. Look what these people are saying. I don't want any of that to boil over and go off like a bomb. Now, Trump brings up the dog thing, and you get them calling it bizarre. This is fascinating. They say Trump's false claim. This is why I hate the media. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you, because that's what we do here at Timcast. I have not seen any credible reports that dogs have been taken. Even Frontlines, that video, they just say people are claiming they've heard it happen. That would suggest there is very light circumstantial evidence, rumors in the town among the people who live there of pets being taken. Likely the origin of this story. How do you get more evidence of it happening? That's a tough question. Until you find someone who comes out and says, it was me, it was my dog, they took my dog. And we can probably find those people. But it's not debunked. If anything, there's a slight bias in favor of it being true. But they call it a false claim. Here you go. Reddit. Because I have Google. 3 years ago, Haitian girl crashing at my house talked about eating cats. So I let a woman 19, crash at my house. This is r/advice. At my house for a friend. She is very nice and polite. She's been with us for 2 years now. She was in a bad house situation where she was going to end up homeless. Where I live it's very cold and not safe on the streets for a young black girl. She's only been here 1 day so far and everything was pretty okay. I also happen to have 13 cats and 2 dogs. She's been fine with them, petting and talking to them, clearly not super familiar with cats, but not mean whatsoever. We were talking about her home country, Haiti, obviously, and she mentioned that they eat cats there and went into a little detail on how they prepare them. It threw me off for a minute, but I did read about their culture and I understand there are differences in how American and Haiti see pets. I genuinely don't think my animals are in danger, but my boyfriend is very, very upset, like wants her out right now. But he said it's my choice at the end. I genuinely don't know how I feel. I don't know what to do. I don't think she's a bad person, just different, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Okay. 3 years ago. And it even says edited 3 years ago. This is not a new post. If you don't think your pets are in danger, I don't think either you need to worry, Shirley, or she'll respect your cats. Okay, look, the point is this. The idea that in Haiti they eat cats is easy to Google search. Easy. Now, what I've found in doing light research is that it is not a common practice. It happens sometimes. Well, there you go. So how is it bizarre to claim that when 20,000 Haitian migrants come, people have their cats eaten? It's not. There's secondhand stories. We need firsthand reports. We need witness testimony from people who've lost their animals. we have heard and seen pictures of people carrying geese and ducks and other things like that. So this story, it's a real story, okay? Whether or not it turns out that dogs are being taken or who knows what, I don't know that I believe that, right? But they're acting like it's been debunked already when it's not. Now tell me this. Ohio is sending troopers and $2.5 million to a city that's seen an influx of Haitian migrants. I don't get it. ABC News reported this yesterday at 6:58 p.m. You know, I wish Trump had a better prep team. They could have said, here's the latest reporting going in. Ohio is sending in 2.5 million. So when Trump says there are reports, and this is how you do it. Why are we getting reports that these Haitian migrants are eating people's cats and they're capturing ducks and geese? I mean, these stories sound insane. Who's going to believe this stuff? But then you get a photo that's coming out showing some guy carrying a goose, and people are saying that's exactly what's happening. Now, when they come out and say, it's not a real story, it's not happening, excuse me, then why did ABC News report that Ohio is sending in troopers and $2.5 million into this city? For what reason do they need a massive police presence and nearly $3 million? Clearly, there are problems in this town. And it goes well beyond whether or not animals are getting taken. But that's just one story. And you can't deny this. But I'll tell you what. Trump won this one easily, handily. Democrats don't get it. I know it's going to happen. Come this weekend, I'm going to be sitting at the poker tables, and there's going to be some old guy, and he's going to be like, did you hear that the immigrants are eating dog? And some other guy's going to be like, yeah, I heard that. That's crazy. They're not going to pull up ABC News. They're not going to do research. They're going to see a viral soundbite of Donald Trump saying, and they're eating the dogs. And they're going to go, first, someone's going to say, Trump claimed they're eating dogs. Then some guy's going to go, really? And they're going to go, yeah, what a nut. Trump's crazy, right? A day later, second guy is going to purple monkey dishwasher that story. He's going to be sitting at the other poker table, and he's going to be like, hey, you guys hear about them migrants eating dogs? And someone's going to be like, yeah, somebody was mentioning that before. It was on the debate, right? Trump was saying that? Is that true? I'm like, I heard it. So everyone's going to, what happens now is it spreads. People are going to say, I heard it's true. I heard the same thing. You heard it too? It must be true. It's an old manipulation technique, right? What you do is you tell three people a lie. And then what happens is you got guy A, B, and C. And guy A, you go to him and say, they're eating dogs. And he goes, I don't know about that. Then you go to guy B and you say, they're eating dogs. And he goes, I don't know about that. Then you go to guy C. They're eating dogs. Says, I don't know about that. Then what happens? When guy A meets up with guy B, he goes, yeah, and someone told me that the migrants are eating dogs. And the guy B goes, hey, I heard that too. And he goes, you did? He goes, yeah, I heard the same thing. Really? You heard that too? Wow, that's crazy. Then guy C walks up and goes, what's up, guys? And they're like, hey, did you ever hear about migrants eating dogs? He goes, yeah, I heard that just a few days ago. And they'll go, damn. Well, it must be true then. How did you all hear about it? That's the game. They don't understand this stuff. I think Trump won this one. And that's why. But take a look at this from ABC News. The governor of Ohio will send law enforcement and millions of dollars in healthcare resources to the city of Springfield as it faces a surge in temporary Haitian migrants. Republican Ohio Mike DeWine said Tuesday he doesn't oppose the temporary protected status under which some 15,000 Haitians have arrived in the city of about 59,000 people. But he said the federal government must do more to help impacted communities. His news conference was held just hours before the presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former Republican President Donald Trump, where the divide over immigration policy was sure to be an issue. On Monday, Republican Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost also drew attention to the crisis when he directed his office to research legal avenues, including filing a lawsuit to stop the federal government from sending an unlimited number of migrants to Ohio communities. How about the town of Springfield vote on it and say, you can't be here? Under what authority can you come into people's homes in their city and do this to them? Thousands of temporary Haitian migrants have landed in the city in recent years. What would happen? Honest question. I don't know. Honest question. If the town of Ohio said, get the sheriff, get the locals, we are removing these Haitian migrants. They're not welcome here. And they start going around and saying, excuse me, sir, are you a migrant? You are? Okay, well, you got to go. What would happen? It's a tough spot because what if there's a guy and he's like, hey, I live here. He's like, I'm not a migrant. And they say, okay, fine. But how does a city of 59,000 handle 20,000 new people? Where do you put them? This will destroy the community. It will destroy their way of life. So I wonder. I suppose I can predict what's going to happen. These people will likely do nothing. They'll complain about it. And they'll say, well, it's bad. But are they having kids? I don't know. So we'll see, obviously, how this plays out, to be honest. I think it's fair to say with the Ohio government sending in money, spare me your debunked manipulations. The story it's all over the place. So I don't know what's true. The government is reacting as though something is happening. Right there. September 10th, 2024. Just yesterday reported. So I'll wrap this one up there. Next segment will be coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. And for you guys, the conspiracy of Kamala's earpieces. Oh boy, heck of a debate last night. It certainly was fun. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, become a member by going to Timcast.com and clicking join us. For $10 a month, you can help us fight fake news. So thank you all so much for hanging out, and we'll see you all at 6. But for the rest of you, we're going to read your super chats. I'll tell you, the old pitches we'd do at the nonprofits would go something like, hey, do you have a minute to talk about corruption and manipulation in media? And they say, yes, hi, my name's Tim, and I'm with Timcast.com. We are an organization that produces several shows combating the fake news every single day. And then you go into the problem. Did you know that the corporate press is colluding with power political establishment, elites, and politicians to fabricate information? Donald Trump was accused of calling neo-Nazis very fine people, but we learned that was a hoax. So how do we do something about this? Well, as you know, this problem is serious. An election is 2 months away. This is what we call building a sense of urgency. 2 months away from one of the most consequential elections, and the media is lying to undercut the frontrunner, and that is Donald Trump, the man who's seeking to solve this problem. Here's what you do about it. Go to Timcast.com and click join us for $10 a month. You will join our efforts and help support this show. And that's the gist of how you do the speeches. It's the breakdown. So you always got to have that urgency. You always got to say, guys, that's why they do that. They'll say, this is it. Our budgets are tight. We're strapped. And we don't know how long we'll be able to keep going for. That's why you need to become a member today. With just 2 months until the election, 55 days. It is more important than ever that there are prominent shows, personalities, and journalists that are fighting fake news to make sure the American people have the truth. And we can only do it with your support. So go to Timcast.com, click join us, become a member. But for the cost of 2 cups of coffee per month, $10 a month, you have joined the fight. And to be honest, most of the nonprofits aim for much higher than $10. The average contribution is, I think, $17, or it was 10 years ago. They probably aim now. I think it's around $23. So, there you go. Let's grab a couple super chats before we jump into the last story. Fiji Merman says they're eating cats and crashing cars. As an Asian, I'll happily relinquish our stereotypes to the immigrants from Haiti. Ha! They're crashing cars. These stories are confirmed. There are confirmed stories of crashed cars, damage, vandalism, Haitian migrants sleeping on people's lawns, all of this stuff. All right. The text vet says, yesterday you made me off as a liar for bringing this up. You going to do what you say MSM should do and apologize and own it? I do not know what you're referring to. Right? I'll say this. The reports that dogs are getting eaten. I've not seen any firsthand reports that dogs are getting eaten. So likely not the case. I should say, I don't know. The story of the woman eating a cat, she was not Haitian. She was an American woman. There are stories to give credibility to the idea that Haitians are eating cats, and there are locals claiming they've heard these stories. We don't know that it's true. So there you go. The goose and duck thing sounds real, for sure. Other than that, I don't know what you're referring to, sir. All right. Project Mayhem says Trump should offer a small tax exemption for pets, covering spay and neuter, vaccines and licensing, becoming the president for family pet owners. That sounds nice. All right. The text vet says, it's not always eating. That's a straw man. It's more common to be used in rituals, and so people are reporting based on animal carcasses. I would also add that's literally what my segment was yesterday. Stories of animals being sacrificed. Fox News reported this, and it's happening all over. People are talking about like voodoo rituals and finding decapitated chickens and other birds. So, all right. Admar says 60K town with 20K migrant influx. Imagine if a family of 6 and the government forces 2 men to live in your house. Any parent would care. Indeed, indeed. James Johnson said, Tim, on the discussion of birth rates, I wonder how much lower birth rates in major cities is impacting the number overall, since those tend to be blue strongholds. Yup. This is why they're flooding the country and putting them in big cities. It's why these cities want to be sanctuaries. Let's jump to this story, my friends. From Newsweek, a conspiracy theory emerges. Was Kamala Harris wearing audio headphone earrings? I love this. It's probably not true, and I don't care if it is true, but to me it feels like a cope. To claim that Kamala Harris had to wear special earpieces is just a waste of time. A lot of people are pointing it out, but here we go. What are Nova H1 audio earrings? Kamala Harris conspiracy spreads online. There have been so many of these. Donald Trump had something in his hair, and I think it was like something that held his hair up or something like that. And people were claiming that Trump was using bone induction audio devices. So how they work is there's no speaker. Well, there's a speaker, but it vibrates into the bone, so you hear it, and it's not loud. So Google Glass was famous for. Remember Google Glass 10 years ago? It had this one piece that went over your ear. And when it was making noise, you couldn't really hear anything. But when you put it on your ear, it vibrated into the bone and your ear could translate the vibrations into sound. And that was, people claimed Trump had one of those. I remember, what was it like? Bush and Romney had like a box in his jacket or something. And they were like, he's got a listening device. This proves it. I don't care if he does. But here's the story. Newsweek says, a conspiracy theory doing the rounds on social media following yesterday's debate says that Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris was wearing hidden earphones disguised as pearl earrings. The conspiracy theory says that Harris was wearing a set of Nova H1 audio earrings created by German startup Nova Products during the first presidential debate between Trump. This sounds like someone was trying to come up with why Kamala did better than they thought, and they're coping. The clip-on earrings, according to the startup's Kickstarter page, are placed on the earlobes and project the sound from inside the pearl straight into your ear canal. It adds that 2 tiny high-end microphones are integrated into each earring, providing the user with crystal clear phone calls and wind noise cancellation. Debuted at CES in Vegas, January 23, these Bluetooth wearables have directional sound that allow for privacy. Any audio output is absolutely private, so you're the only one hearing your conversations and music. While video footage of the debate shows that Harris is wearing pearl earrings, several social media users have pointed out there's similarity with a pair of double pearl hinged earrings from Tiffany & Co. Newsweek reached out to the Harris campaign for comment, which is silly, by the way. It's not the first time conspiracy theories have circulated about hidden communications during presidential debates. Similar claims were made about Hillary Clinton during the 2016 campaign, specifically after a televised forum called the Commander-in-Chief Forum on September 7th, 2016. Some conservative websites and social media users circulated an image that showed Clinton wearing an earpiece during the event. Fact-checking websites, PolitiFact and Snopes examined and dismissed claims that a flesh-colored earpiece could be seen in Clinton's ear. There was also a claim that Joe Biden wore a hidden earpiece during a debate. This emerged before the presidential debate between Biden and Trump. It's every single time, okay? So here we go. Alex Jones posts this. Look at these earpieces that look like earrings. Looks a lot like what cackling Kamala was wearing. What do you think? No, it doesn't. The Nova earring goes on the ear, and it's a single gold band that drops down. Nova H1 audio earrings, the first and only wireless earphones embedded in a pair of pearl earrings on a gold or silver plated clip. It's a Kickstarter, by the way. Then you jump over to this. It's not the same thing at all. She's wearing pearl earrings, and I must remind all of you, she's worn them before. Here we go. Red Pill USA tweets, initially I was skeptical, but after conducting some research, it appears there may be truth to the allegation regarding Kamala Harris using assistants during the presidential debate. Am I mistaken, or do these resemble the Nova H1 audio earrings that Kamala is wearing? They don't. I don't know what to tell you. They don't resemble it. I don't know. I feel like it's a cope. People don't want to just admit that Kamala performed better than they thought. Everybody was saying this. Before the debate, this is what everybody's saying. Kamala is going to do miserably. Trump's going to mop the floor with her. It's going to be bad. She's going to be exposed. The funny thing is, I saw all these memes being posted about Joe Biden. Well, when Trump debated Joe Biden, he absolutely obliterated the man. Trump won the debate against Biden so well that Joe Biden dropped out of the race. Can you believe it? Kamala Harris suffered no such thing. At the very least, I say it's a coin toss. Trump had righteous indignation. He was stronger and more fierce, but Kamala did get him flustered sometimes. I don't think it was a particularly great definitive thing for anybody. The media is going to claim Kamala won. Doesn't matter if she did win. They're going to say this because low information voters being polled later on will be like, yeah, I think Kamala won because I heard that on the news. That's the game they're playing. Immediately, this is fascinating. During our live show last night, I said live, it seems like a lot of people are pointing out Kamala is doing way better than they thought, and Trump is actually flustered. A lot of commentators are complaining that it's 3-1. That's a cope. And I'm not trying to be a dick, right? It was 3-1. It's a fair criticism. I'm saying don't bring that up. David Muir was debating Donald Trump. It's the weirdest thing. Like, why was he doing it? He's literally arguing with Trump, and Trump's arguing back. This is ridiculous. Trump was debating 3 people. However, had Trump done very well, nobody would have brought it up. They would have said things like, LOL, even with David Muir arguing with Trump, Trump is crushing it. Instead, a lot of the responses were, it's unfair. They rigged the debate. We knew this was going to happen. That indicates you don't think Trump did well in the circumstances. When I said this on the live show, I had super chats from people being like, LOL, who are you following, Tim? Trump's winning. Okay. Trump could have won. I don't think it's fair to say Trump won for a variety of reasons. Trump did well. I think he'll be benefited by a lot of how he performed. That's for sure. But winning would have been destroying Kamala Harris's campaign in one night, which he could have done. Probably not so easy, but he could have done it. If Donald Trump was calm, collected, and quick-witted, like he was with Biden, they would have just been like, man. Trump got her on a few points. He had her flustered. The first question she couldn't even answer, the why don't you do it now, was masterfully done. But Trump got heated in too many points. And that gave Kamala Harris just enough. So when she brings up all of the things to piss him off, you're a convicted felon. Trump responded well in some of the circumstances, but it got too personal. She said, well, that's rich coming from someone who's convicted and being sentenced. And then Trump's response was good. He says, that's weaponization from them, trying to jail me because they want to steal the election. That was a good response. But when asked about 2020, Trump says, I think I won, and he shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have done it. When Kamala attacked his rally sizes and people leaving early, he took such offense to that because she's lying, of course. But she was trying to make sure that Trump said me, instead of you. That was the only play she had. She had her talking points, and she had get Trump mad. And I think Trump did walk into some of it. But this is why a lot of people are bringing this up, claiming that she's got some kind of secret audio device. Because there has to be some explanation for why she did well. Other than, I don't know, she had debate prep, drank an energy drink, and stood firm. I still think it wasn't that great for her. They want to say in the media that Kamala Harris won, but there's a big difference between getting what you need, winning, and having absolute victory, right? So did she get what she needed? Well, the media got a little bit what they needed. They got sound bites of her sounding calm and reasonable. Did she win? Win subjective. Can she declare outright victory in this debate? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So let me clarify the difference between did she win or is there a victory? What I mean to say is when the media says Kamala Harris won, it's a question of, but did she really? Maybe. An outright victory would have been, oh my God, it was so bad for Trump. Everybody agrees. That certainly didn't happen. With Joe Biden, it did. Kamala Harris, in order to win, needed a combination of strong responses, sound bites, and I don't think that she got those. She got a little bit of what she needed, but she could not declare an outright victory. Same is true for Donald Trump. This is why I say, a lot of people are coming out being like Kamala won or Trump won or whatever, but it's a lot more than that. It's not so simple to say Kamala had better answers, so therefore she wins. No, she came off as indifferent and condescending and snooty. That's bad for her. Again, I said this earlier in the show. Frank Luntz pointed out she's losing on image. She may have smart things to say, or she may have quick answers. She definitely deflects, but the image is bad, and that's what hurt Hillary Clinton. So we don't need to play these games and talk about secret audio devices to give her a leg up. It's silly. She didn't do that well. If she had real audio devices, she probably would have had much better answers. And that would be cheating, my friends. But you know what? How about this? Come November, y'all go vote. When early voting is starting in like a week, y'all go vote. Get out there and vote as soon as you can. PA, Pennsylvania needs you. If you live in Pennsylvania and you don't vote and Trump loses, it's your fault. PA is the crucial state. It is the state. Nate Silver said if Kamala Harris doesn't win PA, her chance of winning is 4%. So get out there, vote. Let's bring this one home. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, become a member at Timcast.com. We will see you all tonight at 8 p.m. at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. And for the rest of yous, we'll grab a couple more of your super chats. And we'll see what we got. Jay Coulter says, that's what I thought. I seen Haitians in NOLA doing those rituals, dogs, talking birds, all that. They definitely don't do that voodoo. Don't met me with a whodunit magic, huh? I don't know what you mean. Trump final statement should have been, Pimp C, I can't even lie like a ghetto-ass bitch. Hello, a Kamala meat floor meat bop, salt Kamala, yeah? Well, okay, if you say so. Kellen says, I'm offended and appalled as a service member at the claim we have no troops in active war zones. This is a definitive lie, easily debunked by the 3 caskets that came home to Georgia. No fact check on that, though. That one got me pissed. They just lie about this, and ABC did nothing. Jeez. Adam says, ABC gave her the questions like they did Clinton. Perhaps. Well, my friends, we're going to wind it up there. I'm a little under the weather today. But I'm going to rest and relax so that I can come back tonight for Timcast IRL with the latest developments. We'll probably get much more political opinion assessment throughout the day. So smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with all your friends. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 57 days away from the 55 days from the election. We're not we're. Did I say we're? I would say we're. We are 55 days away from this election, and every day we are inundated by the fake news lies. This debate is no exception. In fact, it exemplifies the problem. If you want honest opinion and commentary breakdown, we're not always right, but we get the facts correct to the best of our abilities. And our opinions may be not the same as yours, but we always try to make sure that the underlying news that we read is true and correct to the best of our abilities. If you think this service is good and should continue, head over to Timcast.com, click join us, become a member, smash the like button. You can follow me on X at Timcast, share the show with all your friends. This show is available on iTunes and Spotify as the Tim Pool Daily Show, or Tim Pool Daily News, one of the two. And thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all tonight at 8 p.m. and appreciate all your support from everybody who's been a member. So again, we'll see you tonight. And thanks for hanging out.